Good evening and welcome to the budget, oh, actually, this is not a regular budget meeting. Can I have a motion to resume from recess?
So move.
Motion has been made by the vice chair, seconded by Councilor Luzon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and the ayes have it. Councilors, we're on day 3 of our budget hearing. Today is Thursday, May 22nd. Tonight, I think we have almost all of them. Tonight, we have Council on Aging, Veterans Office, the Rec Department, and Inspectional Services. I did speak with our acting chief of our fire department. His son is graduating from Central Catholic tonight, so they will be rescheduled for next week. All right, I'm gonna look at our CAFO before we get into this. CAFO, is there anything you wanna begin with or say you're all good? Okay, perfect. So let's start with the Council on Aging. We have the Director Martha Velez.
Good evening. Martha Velez, Director of Health and Human Services. I oversee the Council on Aging, Recreation Department, and Veteran Services. Along with me is Victor, VSO Director, Adelie, Recreation Director, and Lisa, the Program Administrator for the Council on Aging. Our budget is...
What page are we on?
130. Starts the Health and Human Services.
Okay.
So the total budget for the Health and Human Services is $1,426,441. There's an increase of $5,972. And we break it up by, first at 131 is the Council on Aging. It's pretty much level funded. The increase that you see are raises for non-union that they received. The ones that didn't receive it in 2023 received it this year, so our budget changed by that much. As of right now, we have 10 employees, 7 from the city, 3 from grants, and you will see it there. It's the director, the assistant director, which is Lisa, the confidential secretary, community health specialist, coordinator of elder programs. There's 3 program assistants that are full-time, a Vietnamese coordinator, a maintenance coordinator, and then our longevity.
We got 10. Councilors, any questions or comments specifically on the Council on Aging? Councilor Marmol.
Do you mind just touching base on, I'm looking at the program assistant, it goes from 4 to 3, but then there's an increase. Could you help me understand that section?
Sure. So we used to have 4 part-time program assistant. We went down to 3 full-times for, it really covers the Council on Aging better. It was hard to find part-time, 18 hours a week with people not doing, not getting any benefits. So these 3 ladies are there full-time, and the increases, the raise for the 3 of them, that was part of the 3%, I believe, right, Catherine? Yeah, I think it was 3%. It's just something that works better for us, as it was really hard to fill in the part-timers. We tried to get part-time positions, and, you know, people, it's like 8 o'clock to 12 or like 12 to 4, and no benefits, and people just...
Is there a reason why you guys went that route to begin with?
It was like that.
Experimenting? Oh.
It was like that forever, and that's the change that I started to make as I started to see the need in our community.
I have a few questions. Do you have any questions, Councilor Luzon?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. So I mean, I'm gonna go and follow District Councilor Marmol Lee on the program assistant because we see a potential salary raise here. So you went. Do you follow me?
Yeah, yep. Where it says 41 now from 36,
Yeah.
correct?
And then I see a potential salary raise of $4,710. Can
Of-
you explain that?
Of 7,000?
4,000.
4,710.
Mhm.
Yeah, when I put them all together to be full-time, the money they were making with a full-time, it came out to a little bit more than what they were making for at part-time. Because it was only 18 hours before, or someone would work 15, someone would work 18, so it was different hours for all four of them. So we brought them into 35, all three of them worked 35 hours.
So now we're gonna have 3 full-time
Downstairs in the, as you
With-
walk in, yes.
benefits and that's why we're seeing this potential salary raise. Just to give the people that are watching, Madam Chair, how many people we serve
At the Council on
at the
Aging.
Council on Aging? Thank you.
Last year, we served over 6,900. That's delivery of service. Over probably 2,010 units of service, which means that we serve people numerous times. We provided 76,000 meals that went to homebound elders. We also do many, many activities. We do educational. We do, last year we had about 100 people go through our citizenship classes. We have classes for English. We have arts and crafts. We have exercise. Our exercise class every morning, Monday through Friday, is about 60 to 90 people strong.
Thank you, Director Perez, for explaining that. Just to give an idea to the people that are watching,
Sure.
why instead of having part-timers, it's important to have 3 full-timers instead of 4.
The other thing that we do now that wasn't done before is we have My Senior Center, so everybody that comes in is actually entered into a database so that we can have intake forms, we can see what we're serving them for, what activities they're going into, what the needs are, whether they have, SNAP, whether they need a Social Security, if they're going to retire, where do we refer them to?
Thank you. I don't have any more questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I have 3 questions. I'm gonna start off with the one I just wrote, that it just came to mind because you were just talking about the database.
Yep.
Who has access to this database?
We do. The
So-
Veteran Services, Recreation. So we put the veterans into that database. We put the summer program into that database, and we're the ones that log in. It's a login.
So, but is it like the directors, the secretaries, or all of you guys? As
So
a team?
everybody has different access, right? Directors have the ability to do the administration part, make changes, like Lisa, she really oversees that. And she's the one that checks to see if everything's being entered, if it's entered right, what information are we missing, do we need anything else that we need to add, change, or whatever. The staff downstairs only has the ability to enter the information, make appointments for us if they need to make appointments, and just basically share like flyers or anything like that. Other than that, nobody but us has.
Okay, the reason why I asked this question, we had a situation where confidential documents were leaked, right, to the media before. And this database, you've mentioned that it hasn't been done before, and automatically my brain goes into election season, who has access to this? Our elder population is already, a vulnerable population. I want to make sure that staff members are not using that data for anything else other than the work that they're supposed to be doing.
So Only administrators have the right to print names and phone numbers and so
Okay.
on. So if something like that happens, it's not because a staff member went in there and like
Okay.
was able
I
to
just,
print
you know,
out all the.
I have to
Yeah,
put it
yeah,
out
yeah.
there, just like I try to be, you know?
I understand.
Because it's something has already happened once, and, you know, we, the city, become liable, all of us become liable if something were to happen. My next question is pertaining to the titles and positions. I'm seeing that, 1, 2, 3, there's 3 positions being added, if I'm reading this correctly. The Assistant Council on Aging Director, Community Health Specialist, and the Vietnamese Coordinator.
So it's not being added to this. This is grant funded. It's in our
Okay.
budget, but it's grant funded through the
Got it.
formula grant.
Okay, thank you for
Yeah.
clarifying that. And then I have one that actually came from a constituent,
Sure.
and it's regarding the Council on Aging Committee. They haven't met since 2016. Are we going to see any?
They're appointed by the mayor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a mayoral. Thank you for that
Yeah,
clarification.
sure.
I appreciate it. Okay, and I think that is it for me. Counselors, any other questions for the director?
Madam Chair, yes, I
And
have.
Counselor Luzon?
And now that we have Director Velez here and that she responded your question.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a follow-up question on that. Not having the council meeting since 2016, you said?
Yeah.
Madam Chair, isn't that a violation of the city ordinance or any state law? And I know it's not, you don't appoint members to that committee, but I received a few questions in regards to that.
Sure. I mean, I know that it's been posted in the past and people have not applied. And when we did have people, there was really never quorums. Like, I would keep track of
Yeah.
whether there was quorums or not, and there wasn't. It's an advisory council, so, I mean, they set policies and procedures, and they help in making sure that people are aware of what's going on at the council. So that's as far as I can answer.
And how many members, through you, Madam Chair, how many members do we need?
Usually it's 9.
9.
Mhm.
How can we be helpful? How can the council be helpful for you and your department to fulfill this committee and get this committee going?
I think if you know people that want to do it, I mean, if you publicize it, it has been publicized. That I will say, it has been publicized because whenever a new mayor comes in, they ask, and all of us send, you know, this is what we need and this is who we are, and it gets published. And then people either, you know, apply for it or they don't. And, you know, it's also really important to note that, you know, when you have a committee like that, it is to help, right? It's not to become political, it's not to, it's
Right.
really for the well-being of the seniors. How do we change policy and procedures? How do we do better things for the elder community in our community?
Got it.
Madam Chair, through you, if I may. And it has to be 9 members, because, I mean, getting so many people to form a committee sometimes is difficult.
So I always saw the 9 members, but I could check that. I really don't know the answer to that. I can find out for you.
Yeah, thank you, Director Velez. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Once you look into that information and connect with Mayor DePena, feel free to connect with Teresa, our office, to see, you know, send us the information, because
Okay.
you've gotten questions, I've gotten questions about it, and if all you need is for us to share and just let our constituents know, we're more than happy to help out.
Perfect.
Any other questions or comments? All right, next department, or office.
Next department. Veterans Services. So Victor this is his first budget meeting.
First meeting.
So introduce yourself.
Victor E. Ortega, Director of Veteran Services for Union Street.
Awesome. All right, well, walk us through your budget. We see that there is a $23,450 change. Walk us through those changes and why those changes are being made.
So the $23,000 moved from account
Reimbursement.
from purchase of services and reimbursement. We moved that to purchase of services for the Office of Veteran Services. That will give us the flexibility to be more adapt to when it comes to events for veterans or the needs for veterans for like Beautification Day, Memorial Day, Veterans Day. That amount being on that veterans reimbursements is a bit difficult to maneuver through that budget. So moving that to purchase of services under the Office of Veteran Services will give us more flexibility to use that amount to what the department needs.
Okay. And I'm seeing here, there's a decrease in longevity, so you guys no longer have an employee that qualifies for longevity? Okay.
Yes.
All right, change. All right, councilors, any other questions or comments? Councilor Marmal.
This is really minor, but under office supplies, there is an increase of 290. Could you walk us through,
And operating supplies.
and the operating supplies, if you could just, give a little detail. So what caused the increase, and let us know what's new in the department?
So operating supplies, that money was put into that account, so we are able to buy a new desk for the office, trying to keep it up to date. We to keep operational with new chairs, new desks, just to make sure we are up to par with the rest of the city hall.
Director Velez, there's a question now that I'm thinking, I mean, it's under the same umbrella, so I'm just kind of pertaining to both. The dues and memberships, what dues and memberships are you guys part of in the Veterans Office?
Do some memberships. We do, once a year, we do Massachusetts Veteran Services Office Conference.
Okay.
We do that once a year. Memberships when it comes to associations for the VSOs, Northern Eastern Association and Massachusetts Association. We include those costs on our dues and memberships.
Okay, thank you. And, hold on, and
Oh, that's also for the new system that we'll be implementing in the future, which will be VA claims accreditation. That's going to be
Awesome.
covering that
I
cost
see you're
as
so
well.
excited about this. All right, and this is for Madam Director, and I'm sorry if you already stated this.
That's okay.
The in-state travel under Council on Aging, what does that cover?
That covers everybody that travels, so everybody under my department. that-
So where would you, like, we'll give an example, where
So,
would you
like,
guys
he
travel
goes to the Cape for meetings, or he goes to Worcester,
okay,
or
yep,
anybody that's
got it.
doing home visits, or if I
Yeah.
go to a conference or anything like that.
Got it. Thank you. Council Marmal, you had a question.
With this new fiscal year budget, what would you say is any added services to veterans that will be offered in your department?
Can you repeat the question?
What would you say with this fiscal year's new budget are any new or additional services that your department will be offering to veterans?
So with this new budget, I think one of the big steps that we have accomplished is to get the accreditations to do VA claims. From what I'm been gathering information, will be the first time in a long time that the office will be able to do VA claims independently.
VA claims?
VA claims, yes.
So it's federal benefits from the Washington, so that's something that's not been done through our office, and the DAV does it, but we want to partner, so if the DAV ever has a problem, or like, we can share any information or ask people to come here if they're overwhelmed with.
Just to make sure that I'm understanding and I heard you correctly, you said that your office is working to getting accreditation in order to be able to do these claims? Okay, so that
We-
requires training or
Correct.
some sort of license or certification?
And you have to have the software for it, and that's what the dues and memberships is. And the other thing is, like, Victor's just coming on, and one of my goals is to really identify what the needs of veterans are. And as we maybe come before you next year and say we need more staff because we see more veterans that have more needs, and have somebody that fills out these forms, and really target what the services are for veterans.
For your department to be operating at its full capacity, what would you say you would actually need in terms of budget, monetary wise? Do you feel that the budget that you have or that what's recommended by the mayor is sufficient?
Careful, this one's for you.
Well, no, I think we should answer that honestly, right?
He would know if he needs
Yeah, go ahead. You could,
No, I'm saying careful, like, listen, like, that's for you.
Listen, yeah. I will say to keep operational. There's sometimes that I have to be out of the office for a few days, and my confidential secretary can only do so much when it comes to Chapter 115 or benefits. So having an assistant, part-time VSO, we hope a lot to catch up in the times that I have to go to conferences or meetings that I would not be present. That assistant VSO will be trained in the same capacity to cover while I'm gone out of the office.
To keep the office running.
and that's our long-term goal, I think for full capacity, like you're asking, I think a part-time person sometime halfway down the year or maybe next year is having that person that can also assist with doing home visits. We have a lot of veterans that are older, that are homebound, and, you know, they're very lonely, and he's doing it, and through the Mayor's Health Task Force, I'm trying to build a coalition that we bring community members and also agencies that'll sit together to decide, okay, what is it that you're offering as a nonprofit? What can we do? What can you do? And work better to address, like, we just met with AgeSpan to really discuss what is it that they offer and what kind of programs, and how do we, put somebody in their program, and how can they help us when we have someone that needs other things, who can they connect to? So we're really working towards that. I think that come 6 months down the road, when, Victor, he's had to learn the system, the Munis system, the everything system in the city, I think we're working towards that. And, one of the things that I'm very proud of is the team that we built, because the recreation director and Lisa, they're not just recreation and not just council on aging. And I try to tell everybody, we're one family moving the car together. And sometimes, it's us helping him, and other times they're helping us. And we're always helping recreation, because, we have to do more for our children, more for our community, and the way that we do it is by what assets can you give, and if we put them all together, then we do something good for the community.
Your department is everywhere. When I don't see one of your staff, you or one of the staff members, I'm like, where's Martha's team? We're so used to seeing you guys.
I ask these questions because sometimes I feel like departments such as, veterans and the elderly are oftentimes overlooked. And when it comes to budget, it is not the department that gets the biggest piece of the pie in terms of, financially. So I wanted to make sure if you guys felt that with the recommended budget that you guys are able to operate efficiently. And if there's anything on our end that we should be doing better to ensure that you guys are able to run at full capacity to be able to serve our community better, then by all means let us know.
And I appreciate that, and I thank you very much. I do feel that our CAFO listens. We do share our concerns, and she really tries to work with us. And I think that when it's needed, I think our job as directors is not just to always ask, but find ways to fund too, right? So if I can, and that's what I was saying to Victor, if I can find ways to partner with partners that can bring money into us also, and not have to come up with it all, because I think Ramona would like me better to go and say, Ramona, I got $60,000, can I get 20? She would be like, okay, let's see how we can work this. And I think that's how we've always worked. I just want you to know that, I've been blessed that through the Council on Aging, I've formed many great partners with people that have filtered money into the senior center and have filtered money into staffing and so on and so forth. So that's the way that we were able to grow. And anybody that knows Martha Velez, when I need, I will speak. Right, Ramona?
Madam Chair.
Councilor Luzon.
And again, I'm going to mention the Advisory Council for the Veterans. That is being tabled and maybe for the ordinance committee, it's also it should be a concern too. Because it's been tabled since 4/02/24. You were not here, so. But I just want you to remind you that some constituents are asking about the Veterans Advisory Council. Not having that is a violation of the ordinance, so hopefully you can speak with the Director Velez and with the administration, and as Madam Clerk mentioned at the beginning, we are here to help, if anything that we can do, because I think that it's necessary to have an advisory council, as is per the ordinance of the city. We need to have one. I have questions on page 135, the next page, about purchases and services. We see a change of $25,000. If you can explain why is that, Director Velez?
Sure. As the director mentioned, what we did is, this is under, like disbursements. Disbursements are Chapter 115. That's the money that people get reimbursed for. And we just felt, after really speaking with the CAFO and letting her know what we were purchasing and what our needs were on the other side, it was just, I think, it was clearer as far as accounting is concerned. Am I right, CAFO? To have it where our purchase of services are, to really be able to broaden what we can purchase without anybody questioning whether that is for veterans, because we didn't take any money from the reimbursement of Chapter 115. And we've also been, I shouldn't say we, Victor has been really diligent in making sure that the state gives us back the money that they owe us. So Chapter 115 works, 75% of it comes back to us, probably 6 months to a year after we've paid it, and 25% comes from the city budget. So there is a process for Chapter 115, and for all the veterans, if you're listening and you have any doubt, I don't want you to have a doubt. I want you to come into the office, speak with Victor Ortega, and ask if you qualify for Chapter 115. You know, things are tough, things are expensive, and we understand that. So there's no harm. He has to put it into the computer. It goes out to the state, and the state is the one that says yes or no, whether it's reimbursable or not. And once it is, then they do it into Munis, and then the CAFO and everybody signs off, and the veteran gets back their money, or we pay whatever it is. They do pay for rent for some people if they have a hardship. If they pay for medicine, they pay for things that are needed by a veteran.
Director, to you, Madam Chair. So is that under other charges and expenses? Because I see a $370,000 there.
That's the Chapter 115 reimbursable money. That's
All
what,
right.
that's what that is.
Thank you so much.
All right. I think we are all set with Veteran Services. Thank you, Director.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next office, Director Velez.
Adderley Gonzalez, Director of Recreation. Good evening. Before we start, can I make an announcement if you guys don't mind? So I just want to let the viewers out there that our summer program applications are open. So if you have any kids ages 6 to 12, pass by our office at 155 Haverhill Street and ask for the Recreation Department in the second floor.
Thank you.
Yep.
Are you going to hire students to work?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. We actually did a whole day of interviews today.
Nice.
We've done 3 days of interview. There's 25 slots, and we have 50 applicants.
Nice. If I may, Councilor Luzon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before we go into Recreation Department, if possible to get how many veterans we serve
Sure.
for the next meeting,
Do you want it for a whole year, or?
for the
like-
fiscal year.
Okay. Yep, we can do that. Yep.
Thank you. And you go, Madam Chair.
All right, if you look at our budget, when it comes to, I'll start with salaries, nothing has changed. We did lose vacation, as you can see, it goes to 0, but that's due to union negotiations. We usually have an option of buying back a week of vacation, so once the negotiations with the union happens, you'll probably see that change again. When it comes to our overall budget, as you can see, not much change from last year, from 25. We did get rid of, again, the 2550 for vacation. Electricity stayed the same at 18,508. Office supplies and operating supplies are still 500, so the difference is only negative 2551 for our budget this year.
So how does this affect your office? Because I recall last year, you guys standing before us stating that you don't have enough to continue properly funding the citywide recreational events that we need for our community. So how are you managing? Is this still the case? And if so, how are you managing the funds and getting through?
So it's still the case, but like Martha said, working with the Council of Aging and the different departments, we're doing our best with the resources that we have to get as much done as possible. And when we hire our summer program staffers, we use many of them to run most of our programs in the summer, so it makes it easier for my department to get things done.
Okay.
So I also want to say that, because I do have to like put my 2 cents in all the time. We still have a little bit of opera money left, so that we should be good. And that was something that we discussed with the CAFO, and they're well aware. Because our goal, and even if we understand that we're financially, going into a different way that we were 2 years ago, we also have to understand that we have to keep our kids busy, right? And we have to offer, and be frugal at the same time, but also understand that we have to do these things. So one of the things that Adley and I have done is created partnerships, and we've now are really good partners with the Red Sox Foundation. We've actually last year spoke to the Patriots Foundation, which we're working with. For this year, we're gonna run a tennis, we're with the American Tennis Association. They're gonna come in and run a whole tennis workshop for 6 weeks. Yeah. We also spoke to the Celtics Foundation, and we're working to see if we can get some kind of traction there, and seeing if we could work with the school department to let us use their gyms during the fall and winter to run basketball camps and to do things with the police department. So I'm looking to see how we, as a recreation department, like I said, with assets, it's how do we partner with the school department, with the police department, with the recreation department. And, it might be that the recreation department doesn't get a lot of money, but if we can do the outreach for the kids and be part of this program and build our program and build our needs, that's how we're doing it. So a lot of that is being done.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councilor Marmol.
Have there been any programs or events that you guys have had to cut back in recent years because of funding issues?
No, but I will be back. Next year when I'm set and there's no money, I'm coming. Because I believe that our children need it. And I really believe that we have to do better in sharing assets and open doors. So I will be touching bases with all of you.
Fight for our youth.
That's right. Well, and it's our youth. My whole thought process when I became the director of the Council on Aging, a senior is part of a family is part of a community is a whole, right? So if I help a young kid that a grandmother is raising or taking care of, and that kid has something to do and doesn't drive his grandmother crazy, or she doesn't have to worry about where he is and what's happening, and they're in sports or they're in a program, it helps us all, right? Mm-hmm. And our mental well-being is about socializing. Our mental well-being is about being together and coming together to do different things, and really understanding, like I said when I came into the recreation department, we can't just be about baseball. We have to be about everything.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Councilor Luzon.
So it's only 3 people that work for the recreation department. I see only 3 staff here.
So there's 3 staff, 3 full-time staff, and then there's a young lady that through Mass in Motion and through some grants that I've gotten at the Council on Aging, she works for HHS, she works for me. So Mass in Motion is about equitable use of parks. So I use her to work in the recreation department, and we've created systems in the recreation department because of this grant. So now I'm trying to get the National Recreation Park Society in Washington to recognize us as parks so that we can apply for grants that have to do with us.
And I asked a question, because I know the city is growing, and yes, the city is not just only about softball or baseball. There's other sports that our community enjoys. And when I see a department that with so little, doing so much, and with only basically three and 3.5, it's very concerned. As a counselor, it's very concerning. And also when I compare the salary, director salary to others, it doesn't seem fair. That's the only way that I can call it. Because I know the great work that you guys do, and it's a lot for such a little department to do all the things that you guys actually do in the community. When this is put together by the mayors, you guys are able to suggest, because this is also, knowing my community and knowing the work that you guys do, this budget is not much.
So again, I want to go back to the fact that this mayor actually, gave us a good amount of ARPA money to be able to do recreation, right? And we've been able to, and when I say recreation, like, the recreation department got some ARPA money to do parks and do some stuff, and the HHS department got some ARPA money to do events and everything else that we do. So it was two sets of monies to be able to do these things. As money starts to run out, I'm not gonna lie to you, I will be saying, we have a need. And we did have an honest conversation when, I also wanna say that I truly appreciate the fact that, yes, we did have meetings, yes, we wrote memos about what we needed. And, and I understand every department has a need, every department has, wants. I think that you're absolutely right, it does seem like the Recreation, Veterans, and Council on Aging, and for as long as I've been here, it's not now, have always been at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to money. But I really do believe that, just like you're saying, there are more seniors, and where baby boomers are becoming seniors, there are more people that need more services, there are more children, we're making more schools, and kids are in schools, but then in the summer, we need to keep them busy. What do? When they have school vacations, we're thinking about this when there's like December, what are we gonna do in December? We're having these conversations, how do we pull in partners? But yeah, am I gonna be here and say, we need a little bit of money? Yeah, at some point, we're gonna have to decide, what is it that we wanna do? I don't know, I have a blessing, I can turn a penny into $1, that's for sure.
I just wish, and thank you, Director Velez, for your response, but I just wish that the director position in that department, it has a salary that reflects the amount of work that this department is doing in the city. Hopefully we'll see a change at some point, but I think for the amount of work that you guys do as a department, much funds are needed.
I second, third, and quadruple that, not because he won't say it, he's
Yeah.
very humble, he is a hard worker, there's not one thing that I've ever asked Adley Gonzalez to help me with, and he says no. And you're right, I thought that Council on Aging did a lot of things, but the Recreation Department and what we go through with when there's baseball leagues, soccer leagues, everybody's at home and we're still answering phone calls, going to parks, shutting off lights, putting on lights, there's a problem here, there's a problem there, need to call the police, need to do this. We're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just about almost.
But thank you for saying that, because I know, especially during summer, it's a 24/7.
Yes.
Because we get calls, and then we have to
Yeah.
call them, and that's why I will say again, this salary doesn't reflect what is that the director in this department deserve, because of the amount of work that you guys put together. Just to put it out there, as a suggestion to the administration, and like my fellow council Marmol mentioned, it's like you guys are in the battle at the end of the priorities. Not to say it in a different way. So hopefully it's noted and the administration takes this into consideration. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I appreciate your kind words and for acknowledging that. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to add, so far from the budget hearings that I've heard, not that the others weren't good, because they've all been very informative thus far, but I'm really impressed with how your department has been thinking outside of the box. I'm hearing a lot about collaborations, partnerships. I'm not hearing as much with other departments who are in need of financial assistance. And I think, Martha, you're a hustler. We know that. You're a hustler. So I don't expect anything less out of you and your department. But I really, even though the difference in your department is only $5,972, so it's really level funded. I mean, all across the board is level funded, but I enjoyed hearing what's been going on within your department and how you guys are leveraging, if you really think about it, the challenges, because it sounds like it's making you guys stronger, making you guys think outside the box and bringing new things to the city that we haven't had before. So I applaud you guys for that work.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
You as well.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have, so our last department, we have Inspectional Services. Fires rescheduled. All right, Director, what page are we starting on? Oh, I voted 87. Page 87, in case anyone at home is following us as well.
Right, 87 is when we started?
Yeah, 87. 87, yep.
Page 86, 87. Yeah, okay.
Okay, 87. So the most significant change to this section, admin, was the adding of the assistant director and the enforcement prosecutor. These positions were budgeted for FY '25, but they were just recently filled.
Hold on, can you repeat that, the what? And the-
So these positions were budgeted in FY '25, but they were just recently filled.
Okay. And what was the enforcement prosecutor, and what was the other one?
And assistant director.
All right, which we just voted on. Walk us through, I mean, overall, your department overall has an increase of almost $100,000. So walk us through those changes within each section of your department.
Okay, so the main addition of the increase of the $127,230 is that because of the cuts that from the Department of Public Health, because of the public health cuts from the administration, so we added 2 health code inspectors, and that's going to increase the budget by $127,230 because we're going to lose 5 at the end of June 30. We're going to lose 5 inspectors, and these are the grant inspectors that we call the COVID-19 contact tracing. Keep going. So then on page 91, 92, we have a supervisor's position that we want to reclassify to financials officer. That would be an increase of 14,000 because it's a union position, right, Capo? Is that? Yeah, union position. So that's the difference on that. Weights and measures, page 93, 94. There's no changes on that. The public health, on page 95, 96, we have two public health nurses, and the increases on those would be step increases. It would be step 4 and step 5, that they would go from, step 4 would be 93,000, it would bring them up to 93,000, and step 5 would be 104. Also, at the public health, we have a one Board of Health minute taker. That's $200 a meeting, and times 12 would be 2,400. Also, the licensing, which is the next page, 97, 98. The ordinance, we did an ordinance change the name, and the salary increased by 1,321 from 65,000 to 66,321. There are also 2 active board members. The board calls for 3 members, but for several years now, we've only had two board members on the licensing board. Also, the licensing board, we have a board minute taker also, and there's 24 meetings, which comes out to $4,800. It's like a quick summary of our budget.
Councilors, any questions or comments? Give us 1 second.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilor Luzon.
Page 88. So your assistant director position is not union. Director Ruiz.
Assistant director position?
Is that is not a union position, no?
No, it's not a union position, no.
How about your enforcement prosecutor? Is that a union position?
No, it's not, no.
So your director is making less money, and I'm assuming your director assists you
Yeah.
and responds to the entire department. It's making less money than the enforcement prosecutor?
No, so that's an error that I just
Oh.
picked that out. So with the step increases, it would go up to 104. It would be the same as the prosecutor.
I still have an issue with that.
Yeah.
So your assistant director that responds to the entire department is gonna make, and I hope this gets corrected, Madam Chair, is gonna make the same amount of money of the enforcement prosecutor.
So,
It's very concerning.
yeah, so.
Because they have, may
So
I-
according to the, the non-union classification, that's what it calls for. So it starts at 63. I'm sorry, there's no light here, so I'm trying to. Hold on a minute, I'm sorry, hold on. Oh, thank you. See? So according to the non-union classification plan, so the Inspectional Services Assistant Commissioner of Health and Code, where we say assistant, the first step is 63,700, and at the 5th step, the maximum, it goes to 104. Also, the 2 public health nurses are exactly the same, 63.7 to 104, and also the enforcement prosecutor, 63.7 to 104.
to 104, so.
Yes, to 104, yeah. So all 3 of them are exactly the same, according to the non-union classification plan.
Yeah, and my comment is based on the responsibilities that I'm assuming the two different position have to do. We're just gonna leave it there for now.
You know, maybe, maybe the CAFA might have a comment on that, I'm not sure. That's the way it's. Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, so, but that's. Yeah.
So my question will be is that do they need to make the maximum of the salary? 'Cause
So you usually, when you hire somebody, you know, depending on their experience and everything like that, you could hire, you could start them at step 2, step 3, or step 4, whatever, and then every 6 months there's a, increase. So it's like I said, it starts at 63 when if there's no experience, just the bare minimum, and then every 6 months it'll go up until it goes to the
But
104.
this is how I see it, because
Yeah.
maybe I'm so into the chain of,
No, it is a chain of command.
A chain of command.
It's a chain of command.
yeah.
This is the assistant director of ISD.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
assistant director should not be making less than a prosecutor.
Exactly.
Thank you,
point
Madam
blank.
Chair.
I feel the same way,
Okay.
but
Well,
that's,
so we are on the same page.
yeah, we're on the same page. Oh, yeah,
Thank
And
well,
I'm
you,
assuming
Director.
your assistant director is
Yeah.
standing right next to
No,
you.
yeah, and no,
Holding the flash, she's assisting you.
yeah, no, and
So-
I am in agreement, but I have to follow, the non-union classification, that's.
I know you
Yeah.
have to,
But
and
they're
it's,
both non-union, right?
yeah, they
Yes,
both non-union,
yes.
and they both making the
Yeah.
same amount of
Capo,
money.
what is the salary range? Do we have that, the classification?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, you guys have it? Okay.
Yeah, I have it
So I
right there.
think that's what he read.
Yeah, that's what I read,
It's
yeah.
from 63.7 to 104.
7 to 100,
Yeah.
for both?
And the
Oh,
two
okay.
public health nurses.
Okay, all right.
So I think what happened was, that was the budgeted amount last year, and it was just kept the same. Not sure where everybody is in terms of their actual salary, but that's just the way it was budgeted last year, and it looks like it was just kept the same.
Okay, all right, can we look into that, Capo, can we look into these salaries before the special meeting?
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Maybe Megan has.
Oh, yes, one other question, sorry. Assistant Director of ISD, I'm trying to remember, maybe my colleagues can help me out here. Is that the title that we have ordinanced?
No, the title should be the Assistant Commissioner of Health and Codes.
Okay, so can we also correct the title for the, thank you. I mean, we already have the budget, but we can just, it could just be like, we're verbally reported or sent to the counselors. I just want to make sure, because you never know. Thank you.
Can the sheet be redone with the
Assistant Commissioner.
Or
Of Health
maybe,
and
yeah.
Codes. Of Health and Codes.
Okay,
Yeah,
even though we know it's,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's so long, we just say assistant
Yeah,
director.
I know,
Assistant Director
I
is
know.
easier.
It's easier for everybody to understand.
All right, Counselor Marmal, you have the floor.
I swear, I'm not trying to be mean, and this is not to take away, no, I don't wanna be mean, and this is not to take away the experience that, and mind you, I didn't even know if you are, I didn't know your title, so, and I don't know your experience and what your resume is. But I must say that never in the years that I have worked, and I have been a state employee I'm vested, so I've 10+ years working for the state, and I've held different positions, and I've never been hired earning at the highest step. I don't know, I've never seen that. To me, that is so rare and not common practice. I just don't understand why, considering that how we're struggling with our budget, because we've been struggling since 2025's fiscal year, that we're making these type of moves. And again, it's not that these positions are not gonna eventually reach these steps. I just don't quite understand how we're justifying hiring people initially and they're earning at the very last step. And again, it's not to take away your experience. I'm pretty sure you deserve it, you earned it, but there's been times that I've been hired, knowing very well that I was far more experienced and deserving of more money, and I had to earn my way to reach a certain step or grade. So that's something I felt like I had to say. I'm not sure if you wanted to answer before I move
She's not
forward.
at top pay right now. She's at mid-level pay right now.
Okay,
We have to put
which
104
title-
because, you know, in.
Which position are you referring to, Council?
so Assistant Director, you said there was an error. You said that there was an error of the $90,000.
Yeah,
It should be 104.
because- It should be 104 because in 6 months, she would go up to the next level, which, you know, I read off, that's step 4, and then another 6 months, she'll go up to 104. That's how the steps.
Okay. I know she'll eventually reach to 104, but I'm looking at 90, so maybe I'm misunderstanding you. I'm seeing 90,000, no change, but you said that that is incorrect. It should be 104. Am I wrong for misunderstanding that?
Yes, maybe with all respect, maybe we're speaking about another position, and I have started at the 63 level, at the first level.
And then it was mentioned, how is it that an assistant director makes less money than an enforcement prosecutor? And
the
it was said
enforcement-
that that was an error, that it would be 104. And isn't that the whole point of why we're saying we need a,
We need a
we need
correction.
to rectify
I mean,
this?
even,
I feel like I'm misunderstanding.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
So, like I said, I'm following the non-union reclassification, which she started at the 63 when she started about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So every 6 months, you get a automatic step increase. I have to put it in, they get it, and then 6 months, I do it again until they go out, until probably take, so probably take 2.5 years to get up to the, to the full 104, which that's the 104 so that's wrong right there. With the 90, it should be 104.
but even with the enforcement prosecutor being what, they should not be at the same level as an assistant director of an entire department.
Yeah, so I'm just following the non-union classification, which I was told that's what I have to use.
I think for the enforcement prosecutor is because she was a previous employee from the city, right?
No, it just goes, when I spoke with Mark Einella when he was here, we spoke about this, I had some issues with it also. And then, he's the one that told me that I had to follow this chart. He's the one that gave me this, this non-union classification plan. And I had, I could pass it around, look, if you wanted to take a look at it.
You can send it to us.
Oh, I'll send it to you, yeah.
Send it to
Yeah.
us. By all means, I understand the need for the positions. I think you did a great job justifying what your department needs. But I think it was the first night, Council Marmol stated something along the lines that we were too lenient with salaries, and we've seen these increases that ultimately, and I've said this publicly before, and I don't mind saying it publicly again, we've seen salary increases for individuals that may not be 100% qualified for their positions. And that's a mistake on the council side. I think we acknowledged that coming into it this year, and now we're making it known that we're actually looking at this even closer than before.
And just so we're clear, so this is ordinance, 2.15040, it's the hiring range. So let me just pass it around so you can take a look at it. So that
Okay.
you might understand, you can take a look at it. So that's an ordinance.
No, we understand. So if we can just make
Yeah.
the corrections, just a sheet that we can just paper clip to the sheet,
No,
that
I
would
just want
be
to make sure we're all
great.
on the same page and we're all,
Yeah.
Madam Clerk,
But
This is for you, no?
no, I think it's the same. It's just one.
So if you look on the right-hand side, you see it's a city ordinance.
No, we get that. We get that. Yeah. We just want to make sure that we make the corrections that it's just,
And that's what I was trying to bring out, that
The
it was
hierarchy
a
of
mistake on my
positions,
part.
yeah.
I probably put 90 and it should have been 104.
Okay, all right.
You say that, you continue to say that it should be 104 for fiscal year 2026, is that what you're saying?
Because she's at mid-level right now, so she's gonna go to the 93, and then the next step, which is step 5, as you see on the schedule, is gonna be 104.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Okay, the last comment on this.
Yeah, but what's going to be the next step for the enforcement prosecutor?
The same thing.
She's already in the
No,
next step.
She's mid-level also. She's mid-level also. Yeah.
Yeah, so long story short, we just need a new sheet with the
you.
corrections.
And
making
we
sure that
understand what you're saying, Director.
Yeah.
I think I don't agree with this chain of command, having a director making the same amount, like Councilor Marmol mentioned, than the same amount of the enforcement prosecutor. That's my concern.
Yeah.
Also, and can we move to the next page?
Yeah, if you guys have any
Yeah,
questions
so
regarding.
in total, how many new positions is the department creating? Or is the Mayor De Peña proposing,
So.
the administration?
So we're adding 2 health code equity 1 enforcement, code enforcement to the budget. Those are the 2 that we're adding because we're losing 5. So yeah, we're losing 5 through the grant. It's all grant paid.
Okay.
But we're losing. So I put in a request for 2 more. The mayor's office approved it. And that's the biggest change. That's why we're not level funded, because of those two positions. Okay. Also, too, just to let you know that we're part of the shared services grant with Methuen, and we're gonna get 1 more inspector that's gonna be assigned to Lawrence, but Methuen is gonna be paying them through that grant.
So you're losing in total, how many, you're gonna lose
We're
5
gonna-
positions?
We're gonna lose 5, but we're gonna try to gain back 3.
So they're okay.
And, okay, so how about on page 92, you're creating a new position for a financial officer. Is that accurate?
Can you explain that to them? That's what you requested. Yeah. So, but it's the, remember we spoke about it, about the supervisor, financial supervisor?
So this is a request per the director. He would like to switch the position of a supervisor and make that position be a finance officer. So that you'll see the minus on the supervisor and then the adding the finance officer. And the net of the 2 positions in dollar amount will be $14,000.
Okay, so do we have, is this is another position is this already ordinance, do we know, this position?
Yeah, the finance, that's an ordinance position, I believe.
An old, okay.
Yeah. It's a union in finance.
And if passed, I'm assuming it's gonna be posted and all of that, is this a
Yes.
new,
Oh, yeah, it'll
new
go through the-
hire, or is
Yeah,
it
we'll go
within?
through the
Okay.
regular channels, yeah.
Okay. Councilor Luzon?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And page 96, a salary raise of 14,000.
For the nurse?
Yeah, I cannot see the last 3 numbers.
$14,663.
Yes, so I see a salary raise there.
Yeah, so right now, the 2 public health nurses, they're at the 925 range. And according to that non-union, also the non-union classification, in 6 months, they would go up to the, they will go to step 4 to the 93, 925, and then in another 6 months, they would go to the 104 also.
This is gonna sound maybe out of place, but
Yeah,
where?
I'm just following that chart, which I was told. that
I
have to
know,
use.
Director Ruiz,
Yeah.
this is not,
I'm just asking questions.
No, I'm just.
But I have in
yeah,
front of
I know.
you.
I understand, but I'm just, I'm following the non-union classification chart that I was told that I had to use.
And I'm trying to
Yeah, yeah.
make sure we approve a budget that is
Yes, yeah.
conservative.
I understand.
But where are their offices for the nurses?
They're
Just
on
saying
Parker
that.
Street.
Parker Street.
Parker Street, yeah. We don't have no room in, so what happens, a public health nurse, they do all the TB, the tuberculosis. They have to go to the houses, they go to Lowell, they go everywhere. They work with the hospital. They also do,
Sharp collections.
yeah, they do interviews, they do intakes, and then that's what one of them does mainly, and then the other one, she does all the public health stuff with the state, with the recertifications, Board of Health stuff. She also goes to all the Board of Health meetings that are required. She meets with the largest 14 cities, Worcester, Boston. We meet with them regularly. The DPH, the Department of Public Health, she deals directly with that person, and she's also a epidemiologist, which is about disease and all that. So she's a qualified nurse.
And she works out of,
So the school department let us use a couple of offices over at the one Parker Street, that building over there, because I have 30-something employees, and we're so crowded in there, and because it's medical and HIPAA laws, they need to be in a place where it's quiet and they could interview people, and
Confidential.
it's all confidential information.
well, that is good to know. What is the building? You say Parker Street. When you mention Parker, I'm thinking about Great Orange Family Health
So,
Center.
I don't know if you remember Mr. Tux?
Uh-huh.
Right across the street right there?
Oh, Parker,
There used
that's
to be
where
a
I'm
tattoo place
confused.
right there on the first floor.
Yes.
So there's a school there.
Oh, okay.
So they have a lot of offices there, and
Oh, now it makes
I made a
sense.
connection with someone, and they offered to let us use
Yeah,
3
I was
offices there.
thinking
Nice.
about Park, not Parker. Thank you, Director
Yeah.
Ruiz, for letting us know. I don't have no more questions for now, Madam
Councilor
Chair.
Marmal?
Let me start from the beginning.
It's always Inspectional Services.
You know what? We are
I-
the black sheep.
They're the black sheep of the family.
No. It's funny, because as we're having these conversations, and I know our Madam Chair had spoke highly of Director Velez and Recreation, and this is not to be super critical of other departments, but your department and DPW is by far the one that I personally feel that the city heavily relies on. So we have to be we're gonna be super intense and super critical, and we're gonna ask more questions than any other department, because we need you guys, we rely on you guys, and you guys do a lot of the heavy lifting.
We understand that.
Yeah.
You should be. You should
yeah.
be, because we're the heartbeat of the whole city. Everything goes
And
to
there's so
ISD.
much work that needs to be done, so.
Technically, IT is, and I'm gonna hold, IT is the heartbeat.
See,
of the-
from I guess in-house, when it comes to inside
Well,
City
if
Hall,
if
but
they don't have
outside,
IT,
like.
they don't, they can't do the work. I'm just saying. Anyways,
Really?
that's unimportant, but,
Oh, Inspectional Services.
well,
All right.
they need their systems.
Page 87, in-state travel, I see that it went from $0 for fiscal year 2025 to $10,000. Please explain the details as to why that is, who is traveling, where, and what is being done.
So this is, we have how many? 3, 4. We have the building commissioner. We also have the 3 building inspectors. They go away for conferences. That's mandatory, so they get their certification. So they all go. I think it's the 3 or 4 days they go. That covers the hotel, driving, mileage, and all that. So that's mandatory for building inspectors.
Okay.
What do you use the advertising budget for?
Advertising?
the $5,000?
So usually we have, we create flyers. We have a clerk now that person was, he graduated, from school in graphic design, and he's helping us create, a lot of pamphlets, brochures, and then we need to print them and send them out to everybody.
Yeah, and sometimes we conduct like workshop or community engagement that we bring some goodie bags with information, checklists to give out to the community as well.
Sorry, Counselor.
Okay. Page 92, the finance officer, I see it as a new position. So we currently don't have a finance officer?
Well, it's the office supervisor.
Oh, it's a supervisor?
Yeah, it's the
Okay.
office supervisor. So with the office supervisor, that position, they have like a lot of added duties because they do the, what do you call those things, when they request records, and we get
FOIA.
tons of those, the FOIA requests. So, you know, that person does that, plus all her financial duties with, you know, with Munis and helps with the budget. She does all the purchasing. So that person is more like the financial officer, and that's what we wanna make sure that, you know, they're compensated, you know, as they should be.
So as a result, are we doing away with the supervisor?
Yes, that would be exchange, yeah, we would be doing away with the supervisor. It would just be a difference of, it would be the same position, but we just wanna change it because, I would like to have that person be part of the union, and, you know, and then because they do so much work, you know, that person does a lot of work, you know, they would get, according to the union pay scale, that's the difference of, I think it was like, I forget, I have to look.
Like a merge.
Yeah, so it'd be like a merge, so it wouldn't be an extra position.
Page 96, I'm seeing salary and wages temporary. An increase of $2,400 in that line item. Walk me through, who are we hiring? Is this interns? Is this someone per diem?
94,
194, 96, 96.
96 days.
Okay.
That's the stipend.
96?
Yes, this one.
96.
I don't see that line item there.
It is right after the grant fund reimbursement.
Oh, okay, temporary wages?
That's the minutes.
Okay, so that's, so, sorry, that's the Board of Health, minute taker. It's $200, it's $200,
Per
a
month.
month for, equals to 2,400. So that needs to be changed because it's wrong also.
Did you say that again? What is wrong?
That needs to be changed because, oh, no, okay, no, it's right, the change, okay, yeah, the change was made, okay. 2,400.
Okay. And then page 98, I see board member stipend. I don't see the amount of board members. I do see 9,800, but, how many board members are we talking about?
So that's for the licensing department. There's, the chair, which makes, the chair makes 5,000 as a stipend, and then you have, the two other members at $2,400 each. So there's three. Right
Okay.
now, there's only two though.
So 2 members, how much again?
So it's 5,000 for the chair
Mm-hmm.
and 2,400 for the two other, board members.
So what I would like to see moving forward, kind of like, not kind of, like how the council's budget is. So the council president is listed separately because the council president makes more than the rest of the council. And then the rest of the council, we're grouped together with an overall total of how much our salaries come in together. So that would be nice to see that itemized, for this budget as well, for the future.
For
The licensing board, so,
For the licensing board?
yeah, so board member stipend, you know, just to itemize
Oh,
that,
okay.
like the
Itemize
chair
it,
and
the
then
chair, okay, okay,
members,
all right,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right, I don't have any, you guys
Yeah,
covered.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments? Nope. All right. You guys survived.
Not for now, we might come back.
Okay, that's duly noted.
Thank you so much.
Actually, would it be appropriate for him to talk about the revenues that his department collects? 'Cause he-
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
on the revenue section.
What page is that?
So, yeah,
What page
so-
is that again, Capo? Is that the beginning, right?
Page 17, licenses and permits.
I don't have that section, but.
So what line, which line item are we looking at specific, oh, just license and permits in general?
Most of those come from.
Yeah,
Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
17.
23, and 25 we collected. So the licensing department, and it's on its own, it's one person, it's the clerk. They bring in 215,000 last year they brought in with all the alcohol licenses and all the permits. And, well, that's for the alcohol beverages. Then they have the common victulars. We brought in 21,300. Automatic amusement, 2,000. Auto dealer license, 23,300. Lodging houses, $550. Entertainment fees, 5,200. Pool,
Just one second, you're reading FY 25.
25, yes,
Okay, so we're looking at FY 26 mayor's recommendation
yeah,
and the change for that. So let's go back,
okay,
um,
26.
let's go back to.
Okay, so the alcohol beverage,
Yeah,
so alcohol
So-
beverage is 210,000,
so we made a revenue of 10,000, or we're anticipating a revenue of 10,000. An increase.
increase, yeah.
Okay,
Common victualers license, 20,000.
that's an increase of 5,000. last year.
Auto dealers license, 20,000.
Auto dealer's license, yep, there's no change there from last year.
Lodging house, $1,000.
No change there.
One-day permits, 0. Entertainment license fees, 3,000. Pool permits, 500. No, we don't do marriage license. It's not us.
Can you go back to, Madam Chair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that one day permit for alcohol?
No, that's, I'm not sure what those are, right there.
I would like to know.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is.
Yeah, because that would make sense, a one-day
Because we do a lot of one-day permits. They're $125, I think.
So why is this listed as 0 then?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Can we get an answer for that, please, and thank you?
Building fees, 1,100,000. Plumbing and gas, 110,000. Occupancy permits, 100,000. Food inspection fees, 55,000.
Why is there a decrease in gas and liquid storage, a decrease of 500?
That's the fire department, we don't have that. Yeah, that's a fire department, permit, that's not ours. Milk fees, 4,000. That's the fire department. Storage of propane, that's the fire department also. Truck tank, that's the fire department. Burners, fire department. Smoke detectors, fire department. These all, the rest is all fire department.
So, okay, so I'm a little confused. So these are, okay, revenues that come in through,
So most of the bigger ones are ISD.
Yeah.
The smaller ones are the 500
Yeah.
bottom.
Okay.
We do have them on the license and permits because they're all related.
there, yep,
But I
yep,
just wanted you to, in case you had any
Yeah.
questions of an increase or a decrease, so that you can
okay.
relate to them.
Council Parma?
And the other, I'm sorry, and the, I just want to make a point too, that also, that the ticketing process now, right now, I think it was, 30,000 we collected last year, I think it was, something like that, it was like 30,000, but it's, you know, as the prosecutor, starts collecting the fees, that's gonna rise substantially.
I have two questions. The first one is, as director, are there any licenses and permits that, especially the ones that there are $0 in changes, or in revenue, have you given it thought as to, any licenses or permits that, we should look into in
Well, those,
kind of like increasing, or,
yeah, so,
maybe some of them requires attention?
So the fees have remained the same for many years, and I was thinking, I was talking with the assistant director, that we're gonna do a study to see what other cities and towns are charging. I've done it before. I think I did it a couple of years ago. For the fire department when I was there. I was working with them. And our fees are way lower than everybody else.
If you could, once you complete your study, could you please share
Sure,
that
sure,
with
yeah, we can do that, yeah.
with the committee?
Yeah.
The second question is, like, for example, the dog license and occupancy permits, which this is like for rental units, correct? Occupancy permits?
So anytime
How do you guys
somebody's,
keep track, like dog licenses? How do you?
we don't do the dog, that's not ours, that's city clerk, dog license city clerk. So they're kind of bunched in. I mean, I could send you a report of what we do, because we use Citizen Serve, that's our licensing and permitting portal, and that tracks everything we do. Everything goes in there, all the permits, licenses, everything goes in that system, and that's how we track everything. So I could run all kinds of reports from that system, so whatever reports you want, I can send them to you.
Because I know with dog licenses, somebody have a dog, it's like, how do we keep track as to someone doing their due diligence and actually getting the license as they should? Are there any penalties for that? But I know that that's not your department. So when it comes to occupancy permits, like, I have knowledge where I've come across units where I know for a fact that there is no permit. So is there anything that your department is doing to mitigate that?
Yeah, so like, as you know, I started last year, which we're revamping a lot of the stuff that we do. And the rental registration wasn't being adhered to back then, and we just started doing that. So we are seeing the revenues going up. I have one person assigned, that's all they do, is rental registration and occupancy permits. Anytime somebody moves out, they're supposed to, get an occupancy permit. And then anybody that has a 3-family and up, they're supposed to do a rental registration. And it hasn't been followed in the past, but we are working. I have somebody that's dedicated just to do that.
What's the penalty for
$300.
for a property owner that doesn't get the
Yeah.
required?
So the way we track it also is that, so say, we get a lot of complaints daily. We probably get 15, 20 complaints, illegal trash, graffiti, like I get stuff from the counselors. So I send inspectors out. If they'll do an investigation, and if they don't adhere, in the proper time period, what we ask them to do, then we'll issue, we like to do, we'll issue like a warning, the written warning. Then we might, we could issue from $1 to $200 to $300. We might issue them a $100 one, depending how bad it is. Once we do that, if they don't adhere to it, we'll issue another ticket. And that's how we're right now I have inspectors going around, doing all the, illegal dumping. We've seen in South Canal Street, big mess over there. We have cameras up there. So we have like 23 or 24 cameras that, you know, anybody suggests them, we go and put them up. And we, you know, we have somebody that every day they monitor those cameras.
Any other questions, or Councilor Luzon?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Is the residential loan fees, it's increasing?
Where is it at?
Is that,
Residential dump fees.
Oh, that's a good one.
yeah,
Let me see.
can you talk
Which one?
about that?
Residential dump
It's
fees.
4464,
44,
and I apologize for not having the proper
Fees.
lighting.
Where do you see the increase, Counselor?
I think she says it should be.
Oh,
No, mira, no, here, you see that they making, is that part of the inspection?
Residential dump fees? That's not
there's no
ours.
change.
There's, what I'm saying, Madam Chair, that they are
Yeah.
collecting, the
Yeah.
fees, they're doing their job.
Yeah. I'm not sure,
Is that part of the inspection service?
no, that's not part of the inspection
No?
services, no.
w-
It might be, DPW maybe?
DPW, okay.
Yeah, it might be DPW.
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay.
But
I thought
I
it was
could give
part
you-
of the.
I could give you, when we created Citizen Serve, we keep track of every single license and permit. And we have a list, we have all the codes, and I can send you that, so that way you see every single permit that we have in the city and every single license. So I could send you that if you wish.
Council Marmo. Oh, wait, are you
I
finished?
haven't finished.
Oh, sorry,
But
Counselor.
I do want to mention, Director, is that I see a increase, I see that the job it's taking place, but in others, I don't see any change or enough revenue. So it looks like that some of the things like Councilor Marmol mentioned, and then I know it's not, the dog permit doesn't belong to your department, but that's an example that there's certain things here that they're not getting enforced. And I understand because your
Yeah,
department,
somehow they're not enforced by us, but sometimes they're handled by the fire department, or sometimes
Yeah.
there's also a FOG permit, that's fat oils and grease, that is handled by the water department, but somehow it's reflected in ISD. So
Ex-
that's why maybe you should see some. changes in
Just
that.
like
difference.
the quarterly inspections for vacant properties, you know, the fire department actually does that, but I think it shows up on ISD
Yeah.
for some reason.
well,
And which, we're gonna fix all that, yeah.
okay, but that makes sense, that makes sense.
Yeah, so,
But thank you for explaining
Yeah.
that, thank you.
All right, any other questions or Counselor Marmo?
And this is just in reflection to the conversation we're having.
sure.
Does your department have any data in regards to the dollar amount of any unpaid fees?
Yes, we could get that.
How,
I don't know right off the top of my head, but I could run different reports for you and send them to you of whatever you want. If you could
Could
send
you
me an
give
email
it
what you want, I'll get it for you.
yeah, I'm just curious as to how much money are we talking about of unpaid balances or fees of, because of people, you know, being penalized for certain things? And could you break it down
Yeah.
in terms of what is in regards to? Is it because of an inspectional service, not inspectional service, whether it's that you visited a property and there's trash, or it's like a building code enforcement. So if you could give us a breakdown of what those unpaid fees are for and the dollar amount.
Yeah, we could do that. That's easy. We could I'll run some reports for you and I'll send them to you. Yeah. But, you know, I just want to say that, you know, we're heading in the right direction. I started like in May, so it's going to be, I think it's a year now.
Yeah.
You know, we are.
It is a year. I got the Facebook memory
Oh, okay.
yesterday, actually,
Okay, yeah,
when I
yeah.
posted your
So,
congratulations.
yeah, I just want to say that, you know, that the assistant director, Pamela, is doing a great job. She's creating, she already created like 5 SOPs. You know, she's really doing what I need. I needed somebody, a right-hand person, to assist with all this other stuff because, you know, I have 30 people. I have, building, contractors coming in. I have, people that the mayor sends down, I have to talk to them, I have to go visit them. Sometimes there's issues, I gotta go to people's houses, I gotta do inspections myself.
And I'm holding a flashlight.
Yeah, yeah. So, we're trying to make ISD, a department that's gonna flourish and, collect all their fees and do what we gotta do. And also too, just so you know, according to Department of Public Health, every single inspector now, within 2 years, needs to be certified, just like a building inspector. And if they don't, they won't be able to do inspections anymore.
Is that's something new?
That's according to
state
the,
law.
Okay.
state law now.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're working on that now. Right now, we have, you might probably explain it better because you've been doing them, I haven't done
Yeah,
it.
there's now a regulation that called SAFI, that every inspector has to meet certain certification, like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So there's also for food inspectors and also for housing inspectors.
And it's not a certification that you go, you show up, you actually do the tier 1, you have to do all these prerequisite courses, and they really test you, and you have to know your stuff. Then you go to tier 2, this is for food and housing code inspectors. And then tier 3, actually somebody from the state comes in, they go out with you, and then you have to pass the test with them, and that you did all these inspections according to
Law.
Yeah.
Right, well, regulation.
Sounds great.
All right, well, thank you, and for the job, your 1-year anniversary. I don't think, we asked tough questions, but I don't think this council ever doubted your leadership capabilities. That's why you got a unanimous vote.
Yeah.
And we're looking forward to continue to see the changes and the improvements.
Yeah.
It looks like you guys are making a great team so far, so we're expecting a lot out of this department.
Yeah, I just want to say that, I could be retired and be in Puerto Rico right now, but, I'm 37 years with the city, but I chose to come back and try to help this department grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for being responsive.
Thank you.
I try to be. I know a few times you brought it to my attention,
Just to like add one more thing, Madam Chair, no.
Yeah.
I sincerely, I understand you guys get a brunt of the calls and it's a department highly challenged.
Yeah.
And again, this is the reason why I said we
I
rely on you guys.
30 to 40 emails a day.
And unfortunately, your department, along with DPW, again, my opinion, I feel like we're going off of results. Some other departments could, we don't rely as much on physical results, but with you guys, I have to physically see that you're doing certain things that we're requesting you to do. By all means, don't take any of our line of questioning.
Oh, no, we don't. We don't. I mean, we're here to work together, one purpose, to make the city a better place. My kids went to Lawrence High, the Greater Lawrence, they came back to work in the city, and they love the city. I love the city. I came back to live in Lawrence. I moved up, but I came back. So, this is my city till the day I'm gone.
Thing is, you and your son are in my district too, so I'm listening his complaints as well. So I was like, I have to send them to you.
Yeah. Send them. Yeah.
Send it to us. All right, thank you so much. I think we're all set with
Thank you.
ISD.
Thank you, councilors.
so much.
Okay, thanks. Okay.
CAFO, any final comments, questions, thoughts? I like the purple, by the way. It's my favorite color.
Thank you. Hope there's no scary moment tonight.
No scary moment.
Okay, so I just want to clarify something as per the director. So the direction for every department is level fund the budget. Every department does their own budget. I don't do their budget. The mayor doesn't do their budget. Every department is responsible for their budget. Now, if there's any changes in terms of things that they asked for, they submitted a memo. The memo is reviewed, and based on the priorities, some departments get what they ask, some based on affordability don't. But each department is pretty much, I know I'm here to help, but a lot of the times I don't know the answer because we allow them the flexibility to fill in their salaries and, within line with the union negotiations and the Collins Center non-union list. With that said, if you guys have any questions in terms of what is being charged or what information you might be looking for, I do have my computer with me, so I can look up things in Munis. If you have any questions in terms of details, that way we don't hold you up, or we don't need to send you anything the next day. So that's it.
Awesome, thank you.
We knew. We knew, but thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Have a good night.
All
Get
right,
some
you-
rest.
Motion to adjourn?
No,
Oh, wait, motion to recess.
Yes.
Motion has been made by Council Marmo, seconded by Council Luzon. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes have it. Thank you, councilors.